Hello, welcome to Triggered. My name is Jared. Normally, my co-host, Jeremy, would be by my side, but it's been a while, and life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. So, welcome to Triggered. The idea of this whole video is to trigger you, to get some sort of a response out of you. I invite you to say it to my face. Got myself in trouble with that statement on the internet, and I've learned a lot of things, and that's what's motivated me to create this episode of Triggered. Many more to come. This is a chance for a person to say something without any rebuttals or instant argument or debate, if you will. A respectable place. I say it to my face because right now I am sitting in my office downtown Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada, sitting at Penny Profit Discount Store. I have a little office in here, and I invite anybody at any time to come down and visit me to talk about anything. I think that we have lost the ability to talk to each other respectfully. I'm 49 years old, and I know old school. If you say it to my face, you're asking somebody for physical violence of a fight back in the day. You know, you heard somebody said something to you and you tell them to say it to your face. Well, I think we forget that the internet, there's somebody else on the other side of the keyboard or the side of the screen, and Triggered is a way for you to say what you want in a safe place. And if you want a rebuttal, you can upload a video and we will air it. And where you can come and visit me and we can talk. We've lost that ability. So we're a couple minutes in, and this episode, I want to talk about something that has affected me personally, professionally. It affects all of us on a daily basis in everyday life. And I believe in particular, it affects us in Medicine Hat. We've got about 65,000 people here. We're just small enough that everybody knows what's going wrong, and I think we're just big enough that everybody knows what's going on and the problems that, larger populations have, we have on minimums. So I don't know exactly what bring the receipts means all the time, but I have some footage and I got some pictures. The clip I'm about to play is a young lady that entered our store on the weekend, and I think it was the weekend. Anyways, this young lady entered our store with another gentleman, and just happened to be nearby. And as you watch here, you will see that management realized that this lady was not welcome in the store. So I just happened to be standing near this person at the time, and once it was realized that she was being asked to leave, as you can see in the video, she had no problem destroying some of our products, throwing things. The t-shirt thing is apparently an assault, and the gift card rack. Now, you'll watch, I will go out the door, and I end up following this young lady for several blocks. She walked down the middle of the road. She was obscene to pedestrians. She kept telling me obscenities as I followed her. I did not record following her. I was on the phone with the police, and they did catch up to her. And, while I was walking down the streets, I was debating, why am I doing this? Why am I following this person around? And even the police officer who came to follow up and mentioned that this young lady would be charged with assault because of throwing the t-shirts at me, I had remorse. I felt bad for this young lady. And as I was walking through the streets listening to obscenities, I thought, should I be chasing this young lady? Like, how far am I going to go? She escaped through some fences, but by then the police had caught up to her. So as I understand, she's been charged with a few different things, including assault. And I had such guilt from it that I thought to myself, why am I following through? And then I thought, this person is obviously, what if this person hurts somebody? where somebody gets hurt because of the obvious trauma or mental state that this person is in. She made decisions to attack me. She made decisions to destroy the store. And I can't help but think that there's trauma in there. Now, I'm going to jump to another case, and I'm going to put some more proof, receipts, if you will, onto the screen here for just a couple minutes. Now, these are medications, and the date is recent. This all happened, like I said, within the last 30 to 60 days here. Now, I'm not going to say who this individual is. They left those prescriptions at their place of work. I got close enough to this situation to experience this person and the way they personally live, and as a business partner in this way this person interacted. Now, this is an AISH patient, and as I said, I'm not telling you anything private or confidential. The fact that these medications were left at a workplace in the state that you see them is part of the point I'm trying to make in creating awareness. Those medications have been turned into the originating pharmacy. As you can see by the pictures that I showed you, only 2 or 3 of the times these medications were prescribed were actually followed. So there's 2 weeks of 7 days a week worth of morning, noon, breakfast, a day's worth of medications for this person that obviously isn't taking these medications. Even though, as taxpayers, we fund this. And I'm not complaining that the pharmacy makes a profit, because they do. This person didn't pay for their medications, but the pharmacy still needs to be paid. The doctor that prescribed them still needs to be paid. All of these different things. Now, here's my point. I don't have a problem with this person being medically diagnosed with 7 clinical medical issues, apparently. And obviously, if you've got that much medication, a doctor says that you need these things. Now, AISH means income for the severely handicapped, whether that's mental handicaps or physical, but you can't work. Now, this person had a little bit of an opportunity for everything. This person was given residence. This person was given a retail opportunity, completely legitimate, to work in tandem with their benefits. And I don't have a problem with anybody collecting benefits. We have welfare. We have food banks. We have many different resources. In fact, at one point, Medicine Hat was deemed, the only city in North America, I think, without homeless. And if you look into that, that stat was based on the fact that, yes, we still have homeless people, but we have resources and services ready to help against the numbers of our population. So it's a stat that's basically saying, with all the services we have and all of the programs that we have, nobody should be homeless. We can help everybody. So now back to my point. Why is an AISH patient with 7 clinical diagnoses getting, I don't know the amount of prescriptions there, but getting those prescriptions and nobody is bothered by the fact that those prescriptions are wasted? I have some interesting theories about life and the help we get in life. I don't go to food banks because I decide if I were to spend my last few bucks on something besides food, then I should suffer. Unfortunately, in this day and age, everything is legal. So, I'm not going to say our government takes advantage of our fallacies, but being hooked on narcotics or alcohol or any other kind of narcotic that is going to lead to possible dependencies, and it's open to us. You can go buy a beer for $5. You can go buy a joint already rolled for $5. So, back to my original complaint. Why is it that our system can be manipulated in some ways by people like this? Again, I don't know what's said behind closed doors with the doctor, but I've experienced the fact that I believe this person is manipulating the system more than they are actually getting help. So now I'm going to lead into, now that you know what's made these emotions build up inside and what makes me want to speak out on it. Now I'm going to let you know what my solution is. And the reason I'm doing it as a video is because nobody can interrupt me and nobody can argue with me. And I know that more people are against what I'm about to say than are for it. But I get to say in the video, and maybe you'll come visit me, or maybe you'll do another video, and maybe we can get some hope back, and maybe we can start to figure this stuff out. So here's my solution. I think we need a 24-hour, 7 days a week recreational remand center. And what I mean by that is a jail that is not set up like a jail that is set up like a hotel, somewhere in the middle. It's going to have to be industrial because of what we're talking about, and it needs to be in the industrial area of town because we don't want the NIMBY effect to happen. I 100% understand the NIMBY effect, if I'm saying that correctly. The NIMBY effect is basically where you don't want it in your neighborhood because of the negative impacts. And there is no doubt going to be negative impacts of a 24-hour, basically a homeless shelter, if you will. I don't like calling it a homeless shelter because I'm trying to fight the stereotype. I'm trying to give positivity and a new standard. Because here's what I'm basically saying. It was minus 50 in Medicine Hat over the last month. And at some point, it became obvious, not just here, but everywhere. Things like, how come an empty church can sit all night without letting the people in from the cold? There are some things that are just going beyond common sense. Now, I understand you're not going to change people in life, and I'm the first person to tell you that you will never end homelessness because some people don't want to live within the system. And I completely understand that. But as a society, aren't we better than that? Isn't it time to raise a minimum? And you can talk all you want about the rich and the poor and the globalists and the elites and conspiracy theories and all of those different things. But at the end of the day, I truly thought we still lived in a society that valued human life. So when it got really cold and it was minus 50, I know stories here in Medicine Hat of some of the homeless that refused to seek shelter while the police went and they picked them up. And community outreach set up some systems so that if somebody needed a place to go, there was a building to be inside. Now, again, I heard that some people, I even experienced it. We ran into a gentleman who had been belligerent. He didn't share that part of it. He was in shelter and he was rude and they asked him to leave. That's unfortunate. My point is, it dipped to minus 50 before we found a reason to worry about the people that seemingly don't worry about themselves. I think it's time to raise our standards and create new staging areas, because basically that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stage the homeless. We're trying to stage people with mental illness. We're trying to stage people with trauma that have addictions that aren't seeking the help they need because they're not ready to. We need a different staging area. Right now, our staging is the streets, and it's unacceptable to me. There's a Jim Rohn speech on the interview. Yeah, you can go look it up. It's like 4.5 hours long, and he talks about the first speeches from the church, the first sermons. And at the end of the sermons, there would be the laughers, the liars, the mockers, the perplexed. You don't change those people, and the church would move on. They can't stop and explain everything to the perplexed. You're not going to change the mind of the liars because that's who they are. That's what they do. They lie. You're not going to change the mind of the people that laughed at the sermon because that's what they do. They find humor or mockery in everything to belittle people. That's what they do. They're the laughers. There's certain things in life we're not going to change. But we can change this stuff. We can raise our standards. We can set new minimums. I already believe politics, I'm not going to call it corrupt, but the system is not broken. The system works. And if you run and you get in there and you play the tax games and you play the lobbyist games, that's how it works. Money is a tool and it buys many things. It powers many things. So what I'm trying to say here, point blank, and I don't want everybody to argue with me because I think it's something that should just be done regardless, is we bust them, we stage them. People like this this person I'm talking about who is on AISH collecting all of this medication and, buys their cigarettes, buys their drugs, buys their alcohols, buys their own groceries, buys all of this, lives their life on the funding that they get every month. Well, how about gift cards for the rent, how about gift cards for the groceries and an email that your rent has been paid and a small amount of cash actually deposited in your account. But somebody like this who's got 7 diagnoses and is not taking their medication by doctor's orders, what if they had to stay at this 24-hour center? What if this 24-hour center had facilities for people to live there at night and be released during the day? What if this person was held accountable to be taking the medication for the 7 diagnosed clinical issues? Those are real. A doctor decided, yeah, you need help. You can't have a regular job, so here. And then in an interesting world, a retail opportunity was given. And unfortunately, it would appear that the medical disabilities overpowered business sense, customer service, paying the bills on time, reality. And for that reason, both personal arrangements were violated and decisions had to be made there. And it didn't take long before the retail opportunity ended because of lack of responsibility. And those medications, I don't know how dangerous they are. I don't know what they are. They were returned, as I said, to the originating facility. But those could have been picked up by anybody and taken by anybody. The young lady in the video, I don't know what angers her. But maybe if she was taken somewhere where the chance is still there to get help, maybe some people on AISH that are demonstrating they need even more supervision should get that supervision. And now I feel like I'm trying to sell everybody on what I'm saying. I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm trying to convince you to do it. I'm trying to convince you to raise your voice and say, yeah, let's try this. I'd love to see 1,000 videos. Or you can be in the boat that says, no, it won't help, and there's no help for any of these people, and, it's their choice. I don't disagree. I'm trying to say, can we please use kindness and consideration as a standard for staging human beings? Because that's what we're doing. We're staging them. If we can have a jail called a remand center set up to stage an individual until they're drunk and can go home, or until they get to see the judge because they've committed actual crimes, how come we can't take somebody to a facility that when they're sober, maybe they have that opportunity? And maybe I'm naive. Maybe all of these things are put in front of a person when they go through this stuff. But what if there was just a place where a person could go and hang out and be free of judgment, free of judgment? Help for addictions, if that's the issue. Help for trauma, if that's the issue. We have homeless shelters I know of that, or women's shelters I know of as well, that will actually, a lady in distress with a family can stay at night and be free during the day. We have to do better. We have to figure out how to talk to each other again. And we have to find compassion. And we have to find a new minimum standard. I don't care about what people call corruption. I don't care about people saying the system's broken. I don't care that people say you can't change people. If we stage people differently, give them a feeling of hope and respect, maybe we could change this just a little bit. And if at the end of the day, all that happens is some of these people are in a comfortable spot off of the streets for a few hours even, doesn't it make it all worth it? I invite you to visit me at Jared's Digital Agency, downtown, Penny Profits. We got a whole bunch of different things going on. I invite you to come talk to me. I'm open to talking to anybody about anything, about any time. There's a citizens group in here. It got really political. That's why I'm mentioning, say it to my face. I invite anybody from that group. I learned a lot from that group. I haven't gone away. I'm watching everything in the background. And I think it's time that we all speak up, even, I don't want to say it like this. I know most people are going to tell me it's not going to work and it's not possible. But if we don't try, then we don't know. And it can't get worse than it already is. So if I triggered you, I hope you'll come see me. I hope you'll let the comments fly. I hope you'll like this. I hope you'll share it. I hope you'll upload a video to rebuke me. I hope you'll come down in person and we can video the discussion. Triggered is a safe place. I want you to remember that. I'm going for a reaction. And the most important thing I want you to remember is most of this stuff probably won't even matter in 5 or 6 years, right? Well, this stuff will. So yeah, there's my take. I brought my little bits of proof, if you will, why I feel like this. It's an issue. I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm trying to find kindness and compassion and communicate with people. So I could just babble on. No point. I got my point across. I am 100% for a 24-hour, 7 days a week, I don't know what you want to call it, recreational life staging center. Somewhere, for those of us experiencing trauma, we're already getting assistance to get even more assistance. And you know what? At the end of the day, if we say we tried, and there's just a few people less struggling to survive on the streets, I think it's a victory. And on the flip side, if we really do reduce the homeless and people with trauma get help and become contributing members of society, don't we all win? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video for Triggered.